For the next 7 days, I'm going to attempt to live without any of the technologies we take for granted. That means no phone, no tablet, no computer, no Netflix. Nothing. The goal of this challenge is really just to see how dependent I've become on technology.
Normally, when I wake up in the morning, I'd have a coffee and spend about an hour scrolling through Facebook and Instagram. Instead, this morning, I think what I'm going to do is clean up my piano and practice for the first time in probably about 6 months.
I don't know what's going on with my hair here, but I was too lazy to fix it. If you're enjoying this high quality content, subscribe to the channel.
I want to preface this by saying I haven't played piano in 6 months. I don't actually know how to play piano. I don't know all of this song, I never did. And I'm recording for a GoPro, so the audio is going to be terrible. But
this music pretty much sets the tone for how day one was spent. A lot of reading and just generally trying to find ways not to be bored, with varying degrees of success. With the extra time I had on my hands, I was also able to prepare 3 days worth of lunches in one sitting.
It's now the next morning, the second day of this challenge, and I've had a little bit of time to compose my thoughts from how the first day went. So I'm going to fill up this cup of coffee and let's get into it. So firstly, yes, I did manage to make it through the first day without any technology. Obviously the only exception to this is the GoPro that I'm recording with now. But apart from that, zero technology all day. And I'm not going to lie, it was extremely hard. I think that's just because it's so ingrained. I've found myself throughout the day constantly catching myself looking for my phone. Even though I knew I was doing this challenge, it was just, where's my phone? There was one thing that really stood out from day one. I had kind of an epiphany. You see, I always considered my phone as a thing I brought along to make the thing I'm already doing more enjoyable. You know, eating breakfast, cooking lunch, anything. But when I sat down to breakfast yesterday morning, I realised it kind of wasn't like that. The phone was what you bring along to change what you're doing. You see, if you eat breakfast and scroll through YouTube, you're not thinking, you're not engaged in the day. And what that means is you can't think about what you want to do for the day. Yesterday morning I sat down and ate breakfast and I had nothing to entertain me. That meant I was forced to think, right, how am I going to spend this day? Whereas if the phone was there, breakfast was going to flow into lunch and I still wouldn't have been off my phone. So that was definitely a really eye-opening moment, and although I know the next 6 days are going to be really hard, I'm still definitely glad that I did this challenge. I'll check back in a bit later.
The next few days were spent learning new skills, helping renovate a kitchen, as well as a lot of reading.
So it's now getting towards the end of day 5 of this challenge, and although I think I could probably make it towards the end, I'm ready to call it quits for right now. I feel like I've learned all I was going to learn from this challenge over the last 5 days, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to technology, spend a few hours on technology for the rest of today, and I'll come back in the evening and collect my thoughts on this whole challenge thing.
So yes, I did fail this challenge, but in my defence, this channel is called Tom Tries, not Tom Does, so stop your complaining. So what have I learned with nearly 5 days with zero technology? Well, firstly, it's scary just how hard it is to go even a day without technology, and I think that would be the biggest takeaway message from this. If you want to understand exactly what it's like to try and do this, a day's enough time. So I challenge you guys to see if you can go 24 hours without using your phone, and I'm pretty sure you'll find it a lot more uncomfortable than probably we should. I guess the other big question is, will I be continuing this technology-free lifestyle forward with me in my everyday? And based on how much I've used it in the last few days, the answer is probably unfortunately no. With that said, that's going to be all for this video, so if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.